everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I really love that. If you're returning, how you do? Grab that coffee, maybe a seltzer, definitely a snack. I got Doritos. What do you got? And let's get into it. So there's something that I want to talk about, all right? Because this is something that, honestly, people have been talking about. It's just, will they, won't they, that type of thing, So as people of the prepared mind, we have long been concerned, okay, because we amass resources, we stockpile, not just food, okay, we stock up on gas, ways of cooking off grid, lighting resources, so in case there's off grid and this and that, but we stock up on multiple things for multiple reasons, okay. And there's this theory that the four-letter agency starts with F, ends with A. They'll come in and they'll take it. They'll take it, okay? And maybe you have seen something like this in your mind's eye. All right, here's a scenario for you. A line of armored trucks lined up on your street. Armed men going door to door. FEMA written on their shirts. They're taking buckets, cans of food that you've stored for just this very moment. They walk in and out of your home, container after container after container, and leave you with nothing. You now feel unprepared. It's a real concern for people of the prepared mind. But how concerned should you really be? That's the question, right? Do they have the power to confiscate? Now, there is a list of executive orders that have been signed into law over decades in this nation. All right, and they have been granted swaths of executive power in the event of emergencies. All right, under Carter, okay, EO 12148, Section 2-104. The director of FEMA shall represent the president in working with state and local governments and private sector to stimulate vigorous participation in civil emergency preparedness, mitigation, response, and recovery programs. Under Kennedy, EO 10998, Section 2, definitions as used in this order. A. Food resources means all commodities and products, simple, mixed, or compound, or complements to such commodities or products which are capable of being eaten or drunk by either humans or animals, irrespective of other uses to which such commodities or products may be put at all stages of processing, from the raw commodity to these products thereof in vendable form of for human or animal consumption. Now, for the purposes of this order, the term food resources shall also include all starches, sugars, vegetable and animal fats and oils, cotton, tobacco, wool, mohair, hemp, flax fiber, and naval stores, but shall not include any such material after it loses its identity as an agricultural commodity or agricultural product. B. Farm equipment means machinery, equipment, repair parts, manufactured primarily for use on farms in connection with the production or preparation for market or use of food resources. C, fertilizer, means any product or combination of product for plant nutrition in form for distribution to the users thereof. D, food resources facilities, means plants, machinery, vehicles, including on a farm, and other facilities for the production, processing, distribution, and storage, including cold storage, so like your fridge, your freezer, okay, of food resources, and for domestic distribution of farm equipment and fertilizer. Now, there's two more. EO 10995, which says FEMA can take all comms and media. And then there's EO 10997 that says FEMA can take fuel and power of all kinds. Now, bottled water. Water always has value in a disaster scenario. I hope you store some, okay, or ready to drink water in your home, and also catch some water from the sky, okay, if you have rain catchment systems and stuff like that, rain catchment barrels, okay, and having water filters and knowing where to get more, like bodies of clean water if necessary, all right. Now, in a disaster, lots of water resources are contaminated. The water you have in your home might be all you have access to. And if they come knocking on your door, you should have some to give. Like if you have some cases of water, that's what this is referring to, okay? So have some hidden, of course, for your family. You know, because as long as you have some hidden, or your family is going to be standing in like a bread line, you don't want that. You really don't. So now for food, okay? Now they do have the power and the intention to not just take your food, but to take over our farms as well. So if you're a homesteader, which is what the ultimate goal for every prepper is, okay, they can take it over, all right? But of course, they will decide how this food is distributed once they have amassed it all. And, you know, it's like, can you imagine now seeing all this food taken from your home in an emergency? Now, sit back and think right now. How much food, how many years of food do you have stockpiled? Okay? Okay? Now imagine all of that being taken out of here. I would flip my lid. All right? So, now we're talking years, for a lot of us, years of prepping, just walking out the door by people who could not give a shite about you, me, our kids, our families, nada. And this is why it's so important for us to maximize the use of multiple and hidden storage locations, okay, like our basements. I know people that have literally built dummy walls and stuff like that, okay? They have panic rooms. That's what I'm talking about, all right? So, yeah, I mean, you know, if we truly want to help, then, you know, we need to be able to hand over our food storage and have FEMA roll away with some resources, you know, like that type of thing, and bringing out our real stockpile together before, multiple hidden other locations, you know what I mean? Just be like, yeah, that's what I got. Okay, and then be like, one of those. Now, when it comes to our medical supplies, like our first aid kits, okay, they will take the necessary steps to procure medical equipment, okay? And I'm not just talking about Band-Aids, all right? So any medicines that we have, okay? So if you're like me, okay, if you're another content creator and if you have an affiliation with, like, say, Jace Medical, okay, and you get all your antibiotics from them, they will snatch that up quicker than shite. Okay, so if they believe that you have, if they believe that you have what they want, guess what? Your medical stockpiles, they're at risk. Okay, and it is well within their scope of power to take what they want. They do not care. In fact, medical is even worse than food. That's worth more in weight than gold. Medical. So now let's get down to like boomsticks, freedom seeds. We don't have a lot of precedent for this, but when it comes to like times like with New Orleans, Boston, like with the marathon bombing and stuff like that, nothing stands in the way of FEMA confiscating your preps like a 12 gauge, right? But I think that FEMA would take as many weapons from American citizens as they could. I think they would throw the Second Amendment out the window in the face of an emergency. Don't think they won't, especially when martial law is enacted, because the Constitution, that's null and void when martial law is enacted. You know that, all right? Don't act stupid. You know that, all right? In fact, they would have to, or else there would be a different kind of emergency to deal with. All right. Now, when it comes to like generators, okay, your generator, my generator, is loud. Show me a quiet generator, unless you got money and you got solar. You know what I mean? They can hear it. So this law, it's EO 10997, gives federal power to FEMA, so they can confiscate all kinds of fuel and power. This is where the power comes in at generators, necessary to complete their mission. So if they feel they need a generator to complete their mission, guess what? You no longer have a generator, but they do. So this could include your loud-ass generator that was once running the freezer that you once owned, but they now own. Okay? So now on to fuel. Now the fuel that you were once stockpiling to run that loud-ass generator, guess what? It's theirs. Because they now need it to run that generator, to run that freezer that you once owned, that they now own. All right? I know. It sucks. But it's true. Now let's talk about radios and comms. We've already established that FEMA, these bastards, they have the law on its side when it comes to confiscating comms. Okay? The big antenna on your truck with the big mud tires, all right? Yeah. It's going to be a dead giveaway, all right? Now, the larger the disaster, the more resources FEMA is going to want or need to manage the situation. They would love a few good bofangs. I would love to have a good Bofang, but I don't have one. So, the ham radio, they're going to add that to their comms now because you have one. Now, where and how do you store your ham radio? Is it time to find a more covert means of using them and keeping them in a secret and safe place? Yes. Okay. Now, civil defense in America, it was a brilliantly devised preparedness plan that was built by people and for the people. What could be better, right? But well after the Cold War, American civil defense fell into obscurity, and we started drifting on this crazy mindset of perpetual security and prosperity behind our massive military. Hoorah, right? And the civil defense filled a hole that is now occupied by prepping, panic, and accusatory division in our nation. Without civil defense, we had to create agencies like FEMA, Department of Homeland Security, to keep us safe from the boogeyman and natural disasters. It would be something very special to see the nation unite behind a new civil defense program that is built to prepare Americans for the threats of this modern age, which far outweigh 1960. Total nuclear annihilation is just a side dish in today's menu of potential apocalyptic scenarios. And FEMA's power is born out of the absence of our responsibility as American citizens. We would rather watch the ball game than spend our time and money preparing for the next disaster. Well, people with their head in the sand would rather do that. Not us. Not in this community. Heck no. And that is the boat that we are in right now as a nation. From my experience and the experience of other preppers who have, they're not very effective. FEMA, that is. They could never be as effective as prepared communities and surrounding communities that would answer the call in a disaster. Imagine if the next disaster were to strike, if our community, the ABG community, came together. That would be the most well-organized. A bunch of moms and grandmoms getting it done. But maybe that's all a fantasy of mine. But either way, you better make sure FEMA doesn't know about all of your preps. And you may consider alternative locations and unique storage methods. Because you never know. You know what I mean? All right, guys, I'm out of here. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping. And as always, fearless. Ciao.